What if the most powerful business growth model alive today was written down 2,000 years ago, long before anyone called it marketing? A scholar named Honi watched an old woman plant a carob tree that wouldn't bear fruit for 70 years, a harvest she would never live to taste. She said it simply: "When I was born, I found carob trees planted by my grandparents. Just as they planted for me, I plant for those who come after." Now contrast that with a marketing consultant in Los Angeles who spent $47,000 on ads, funnels, and sales infrastructure and walked away with 0 conversions. For years, the dominant playbook was a straight line: cold ad, landing page, sales call, closed deal. A conveyor belt that turned strangers into customers. In 2016, that funnel worked beautifully. Leads were cheap and trust came easily. But by 2024, cost per lead on Meta had risen over 300%, and consumer trust had collapsed. Enterprise brands with $20 million budgets have taken over the ad space, driving costs up and squeezing smaller businesses completely out of the game. The answer to what replaces the funnel was written centuries ago in a Talmudic text called Bava Metzia, which contains what may be the first investment strategy ever put to paper. Rabbi Yitzhak taught, a person should always divide his money into 3 parts: 1/3 in land, 1/3 in merchandise, and 1/3 kept in reserve. Map that onto a modern brand. Discovery content like Instagram and LinkedIn is your land. Depth content like YouTube and podcasts is your merchandise. And your email lists and case studies are your reserve, all feeding one central flywheel. Discovery builds your audience. Depth content earns their trust. Your conversion assets turn that trust into revenue. And that revenue funds more discovery. The wheel spins, and it keeps accelerating. A funnel is a straight line with a dead end. The flywheel is circular, self-reinforcing and compounding, not an upgrade of the funnel, but its complete opposite. But there's a second Talmudic principle that explains why most businesses fail, even when they grasp the flywheel idea. And it starts with a handful of wheat. Wheat planted as seed grows into a harvest, but wheat ground into bread today feeds you once and produces nothing. Consuming your capital for quick sales is exactly that mistake. Harvest too early and you get a single meal. Plant with patience and you get an entire orchard. That gap between the two outcomes is where most businesses quietly lose. Proverbs 13:11 says it plainly: "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." Compound growth, described 3,000 years before anyone named it. Now we reach the third ancient source, Pirkei Avot, and a teaching from Rabbi Tarfon that defines the mindset you need to actually sustain a flywheel over time. Rabbi Tarfon said, "It is not your duty to finish the work, but neither are you free to neglect it. Show up consistently, plant steadily, and trust the process to do the rest." Google's 7-11-4 rule backs this up with hard data. The average buyer needs 7 hours of content across 11 interactions in 4 different formats before they're ready to purchase. Google's research and the Talmud's flywheel logic arrive at the exact same place. Buying is a relationship built in circles, not a transaction triggered by a funnel. Every ancient principle points to the same root idea. The carob tree, the 3-part division, the seed wheat, all of them are expressions of one flywheel philosophy built on patience and compounding. Ben Bagbag said of the Torah, "Turn it over and over, for everything is in it." And the same is true of a great brand, because every rotation of consistent effort reveals more value. Chasing what the algorithm rewards today is a race you can't win. Building what your audience will remember tomorrow is how a brand outlasts every trend that comes and goes. At Guttflow, this is the actual work. Excavating what's true about a business and building visual stories that compound trust and spin the flywheel faster with every rotation. The harvest belongs to those who had the patience to plant, and the best time to start is right now.